What is going on, you guys? This is Chris with Patchboy Patches for the Culture. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Brother Persona, also known as the Brother PRS 100, you guys. And with this video, this is going to be a follow along, so that way, if any of you have a Brother Persona out there, if you want to load your Brother Persona up and follow along with this video, you can do so. And before we fully get into it, you guys, be sure to click the link down below in the description box. That link will automatically download the PES file that we're going to be using on the Brother Persona. So be sure to pause the video, download the link below, load it up to your USB stick, and put it on to your Brother Persona. Alright, you guys, so for this follow along video on the Brother Persona, we are going to be using just 4 colors, you guys, just 4 colors for this design. Our first color up is going to be this purple violet color. Now, you don't need to use these exact colors to follow along. You can use whatever colors you prefer. But for this first color, we're going to be using this Floriani PF 696. Our next color up, we're going to be using this reddish tone right here. This is the Floriani PF 188. The Floriani PF 188. And it's like an off red color, like a reddish orange color. Then our next color up after that, our third color, will be this orange. It's not exactly full orange, true orange, but it's like an off orange type of color. And this is the Floriani PF 537. And for our fourth color is the color that's up on the machine already, and that's just black, a standard black Floriani PF 900. First off, I'm gonna go ahead and get these colors loaded up on the Brother PRS 100. And since we're gonna go in order, we're gonna load the thread colors up in order according to our embroidery file. Let's just get it. So we have the purple thread already loaded up. The next color to load up will be the red, and then the orange, and we already got the black on the end, if you guys can see right there. Alright, so let's go with the wildfire red, but might not be the wildfire, but this is the thread I'm using. These are the colors that are on the file itself. You don't necessarily have to use these files if you don't want to. Not only that, but on the Brother Persona, you can go into the software and change each individual color within the machine itself. Now that we have the threads all loaded up, you guys, let me go ahead and show you the other supplies that we will be needing for this follow along. Alright, you guys, so some other supplies that we'll be using for this follow along is we'll be using some cutaway stabilizer. You can purchase this exact cutaway stabilizer for your machine. It is a 8x8 inch square. It comes in a pack of 100. The link will be down in the description box below, so if you guys want to use our affiliate link on Amazon to purchase your 100 pack of 8x8 stabilizer. This is cutaway stabilizer here. We are also going to be using some black duck canvas right here. If you guys want to pick yourself up some black duck canvas, you can click on our Amazon link down in the description box below, where you too can pick up some of this black duck canvas. They sell it by the yard, so you can buy 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yards, 10 yards, however many yards you need, you can purchase it right on our Amazon affiliate link. Another item you might need is a pair of scissors, so if you need to cut down the duck canvas, you can cut it down to size. We also have our little smaller curved scissors right here, as you guys can see. And last but not least, you also need your 4x4 inch hoop. We're going to be using our 5x5 MightyHoop. So if you guys have the 5x5 MightyHoop, feel free to use that one. Otherwise, you can just stick with your 4x4 inch hoop. And we have our 5x5 inch MightyHoop right here that we're going to be using. We're going to go ahead and get this loaded up with our cutaway stabilizer and our duck canvas. We do have our freestyle hooping station, but we're just going to go ahead and do this on the tabletop to show you guys that you can do this without your freestyle station. So I'm just lay down that first layer of the MightyHoop right there. Let me set this off to the side. I'm going to do my layer of my cutaway stabilizer. I'm also use my duck canvas, put that right on top. Line this up along the frame, like so. And then I'm going to take my top part of my MightyHoop and go ahead and just drop it on there. And there we have it. It has been hooped. So currently our Persona is set up just for the 4x4 inch hoop. So we got to extend our little arms here so it can fit the 5x5 inch MightyHoop. And to do that, I'm going to need my handy dandy screwdriver that came with my Brother Persona. And with our screwdriver, we need to go ahead and undo these two screws right here, not fully, but just enough to where the arms move. So I'm not fully unscrewing them, just enough so that way it can slide. And on the Persona, you can see that there are like a few notches on the arm. And this like signifies where it needs to go as far as lining up at this point here with this screw. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sliding it over to this next notch, which is right there. And you can feel when it catches, there's like a little indent feeling as like to let you know that it lined up with that notch. So it's lined up with the notch. I'm gonna go ahead and hand tighten these down first. And then I'm gonna come back through with my little screwdriver and give it just a little extra snugness. Now that the arms are in place where I need it to be, let me come over here with my 5x5 MightyHoop. If you guys want to pick up yourself a MightyHoop, be sure to check out their website, the Hoopmaster website, and pick yourself up one of these hoops. Use our promo code PATCHBOY and receive free shipping off your order. So let me go ahead and just get this slid into place. Perfect. All right, you guys, so now we are ready to load up our embroidery file onto our Brother Persona. I got my handy dandy pen that came with the Persona. If you guys did not download the file already, be sure to pause the video now, click the link down below, download that embroidery file. It's a PES file specifically for the Brother Persona. Download that file, put it on to your USB stick, and load it up to your Brother Persona. Go ahead and take a second to pause the video and download that file. Alright, so hopefully you guys have that file downloaded onto your USB stick. So now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to hit this middle button here. This is the USB button. And that file transmitted very quickly because that's the only file that is on our USB stick. So now from here, I'm going ahead and tap the file itself. The file is called Stars Test, I believe is what it's called. So there's going to be 3 stars, so let's go ahead and click on it. The file itself is 3 stars, 3 different colors, and it has like a motif layer on top of it. So I got to select it. Let me hit the set button. And that brings us up to this screen right here, you guys. All right, you guys, so we have our pattern right there, smack dab in the center of the design. So if you're using the 4x4 inch hoop, you can have it embroidered right there in the center, or you can try to move it around so that way we can fit 2 on there. This follow along / tutorial is mainly for if you're doing multiple patches on one hoop and it's the same exact design. This is to show you how you can have those same designs on one hoop and to show you how to do one color at a time for each patch. The easiest way to duplicate this pattern is to simply hit this box right here that contains a white square icon. If you hit that, it will duplicate the pattern up here. And let me move it so you guys can see that it's been duplicated. So now we got 2 of them. If you're using a bigger hoop, such as like the 5x7 hoop, you can easily move these stars around. So that way you can get a couple of them on one hoop. So I can even hit the duplicate button again. And there'll be a 3rd one. So I can do 3 right here. And right now we're using the MightyHoop, the 5x5 MightyHoop. So we won't be able to do all these 3 stars on that one hoop. But if we were to use the 5x7 hoop, we could easily get about 6 stars on one hoop. So that was the first option of duplicating your pattern on the hoop. The second option is this icon right here where it shows 9 little white squares. If you hit that, it brings you up to this menu right here. So you can have it duplicate going up and down, or you can duplicate it going horizontally. So you could either do vertical or horizontal duplicates. We'll select this horizontal button right here. And then down here, there's these plus buttons. You see that? This plus button, it will add a duplicate onto the left side. The plus sign here, we'll add it onto the right side. So if you see, if I hit the right side, it duplicates it right there onto the right side. If I hit the left side, it duplicates it right there on the left side. You see that, you guys? Hope you guys see that. But with this option, you see that each star has this red outline around it. That means they're all in one like grouping. So if I move it, they all move together. You see that, you guys? As opposed to our first option where you duplicate it one at a time, each design will be separate. And also too, let's say you got it where you want it, but you want these a little bit closer together. You can come right down here to these two buttons to this right hand side. So the first one on the left, if you look at the screen, you see that it spreads the designs apart. The other button, if you press it, it'll bring the designs closer together. You see that, you guys? Hope you guys are seeing this. So the designs are becoming closer together. And you want them to be snug, but not too snug to where they'll be touching each other when they actually embroider. So you do want to have a little bit of spacing in between each one if you are doing multiple patches on one hoop. Depending on how big the design is itself, you might only be able to do 2 on one hoop or 3 on a hoop, 4 on a hoop. It all depends on the actual sizing of your design. And now from here, let's say if I wanted to do a few more designs right below it, I'm gonna just go ahead and get these more in the center. If I wanted to do 3 more of these, I can simply come right here. I'm not going to use the horizontal anymore. I'm going to switch to the vertical. So now that I have the vertical selected, I can easily just add one just like that. And you see it'll duplicate all 3 of those. A reminder, this will work perfectly if you have the 5x7 hoop. So if you have the 5x7 hoop, you can easily create 6 patches in one hoop. I'm not going to actually embroider this out, but I just want to show you guys something else. So each star graphic is its own unique patch. Over here on the right hand side, you see it's going to be purple, wildfire, the orange color, and black. And then it's going to just keep repeating that. So that means up above, you have to constantly be changing your thread colors. And if you look right up here, 0 out of 24. So this 24 is basically how many times you're going to have to do your color change. But let me show you guys how you can cut this in half. So one thing you can do if you don't want to do 24 color changes, you can come down here. You see these like icons where it looks like 2 blue spools and an orange spool. Watch this, guys. Check this out. I'm gonna hit that button. Boom. You see? So it switched all to violet. So it's going to do all 6 violet colors first. And then let me come down here so I can show you guys the next thread colors. So it's going to do all the violets first, and then let's just skip ahead. You see it's going to switch to the red color now. So now it will do all the red colors at a time. And it's all keeping it in order, you guys. It's all keeping the design in order still. It's not skipping around. So the design will stitch out perfectly. Colors will not be switched around. And after the red, you can see it's going to do all the orange. And then, of course, lastly, it's going to do all the black. So it's keeping everything in order still. And that's really what we want, because we don't want these to all be mixed up. And as you can see here, it still shows the 0 of 24, but you're not going to have to switch the color each time for the violet color. So once you have the violet color, the purple loaded up, it's going to do all 6 of the purple first and then go to the next one. So as it's going, once it does this first one, once it's complete there, this 0 will switch to 1 and it'll go right to the next purple. You don't even have to hit the start button again. It's just going to automatically do it on its own. So it'll fill up this purple, then it'll fill up this purple, go on to this purple, and so on and so forth. And then you'll have to color change to the red color. And then once again, it's going to do all the red until it's all complete, and then it'll switch to the orange and it'll do all the orange. Some of you guys probably already know this, but this is somewhat of a beginner tutorial, like a follow along. So some of you might not know this, and this might be very helpful for some of you. I'm gonna go ahead and erase all this stuff. I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna load my pattern back up. I could have just hit the return button, but I'm gonna just start from scratch again. Our pattern is just that one lonely pattern again right there in the center. And so I want to see how many of these I can fit on the 5x5 MightyHoop. For you at home, if you're using just the 4-inch hoop, try to play around with it and see how many of these stars you can get in that one hoop. For the 5x5 MightyHoop, let me see. I think I might go ahead and do this duplicate option right here. I'm going to add one vertically to the right. And let me scoot let me scoot it all over so it's in the center. Or just hit my center. If you hit this little dot right here, this will put your design right back to the center. So let's say we move the design out here. We don't like where it is. We want it back in the center. Hit this dot and your design goes right back into the center. Right now the design is taking up the 2.19 by 4.54. But let me go ahead and bring this in some like this. Bring it a little bit closer together, but not too close to where it's touching. Let me spread out just a little bit, maybe like right there. That looks pretty good. So that's 2 patches right there, you guys. And I think I might be able to get 4 onto this one hoop. So let's try to add some more. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button right here. Actually, no, not that button. I'm gonna hit the vertical, and then I'm gonna hit the plus. I want it to go below it. It's gonna add 2 more stars. And now let's go ahead and hit the center button to center that. And so our measurements now is 4.38 by 4.30. So yeah, so on the 5 by 5 inch Mighty Hoop, I can fit all of these 4 patches onto that one hoop. I'm going to hit embroidery. And it's going to take me to the prompt of it being ready to embroider. I got my speed at 500 stitches per minute. And as I showed you before, I want to consolidate the colors so that way I'm not constantly having to change threads. But luckily with the Brother Persona, I've done this multiple times now where I've done multiple patches on one hoop doing one color at a time. And so far so good. I haven't had any stitch registration issues. The patches have turned out perfectly. And so hopefully on this tutorial, it will turn out perfectly for you guys as well. So we are ready to embroider. Let me finish getting my purple thread loaded up and we're gonna start embroidering, you guys. And for those of you who might have skipped ahead and wondering what it is we are doing a follow along video / tutorial on doing multiple patches on one hoop. And also just learning the Brother Persona, you guys. And don't get me wrong, you guys, everything I'm showing you, you can find in your operations manual that comes with the Brother Persona. But let's be honest, how many of you guys are actually going to read this thing? So let's go ahead and toss that out of there. All right, so I got the purple thread tied off to the last thread I was using when I was working on some orders. So let me go ahead and pull this the rest of the way through. And be sure to check out some of my other videos on this Brother Persona. If there's certain things that I'm doing that I'm not necessarily explaining, hopefully you guys have watched some of my other videos showing how to like thread the Persona and like other things on this machine. I do want to do more tutorials and follow alongs for you guys. And when I do these follow alongs, you will be able to download the file for free. So that way you can load it up on your machine and follow along with me. So now one last thing I want to do is check the placement of where it's going to embroider out onto our Mighty Hoop. The thing with this Mighty Hoop, you guys, as you will learn if you do pick one up, you always want to trace out where the design is going to be because you don't want to potentially have your needles and stuff hit the framing of the Mighty Hoop. Because on our screen it shows that it wants us to use the 5x7 hoop, but we don't necessarily need to use that hoop because it should, according to our dimensions, it should fit on the 5x5 Mighty Hoop. But you still want to trace it out so that way nothing hits or gets in the way. So on the screen, you can easily just tap this button right here and this will do a trace around the frame. So I'm gonna tap the button, but I'm gonna change the camera angle so you guys can see everything. So once you hit this button right here, it's gonna do a trace around the frame. And make sure you're looking at that red laser dot just so you can see how close it gets. And so I'm gonna hit the button. You guys see that, how it's doing a little trace. Once it's finished, it's going to go back to the center. I'm going to do it one more time for you guys, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you guys can see it fully. So I'm going to hit that trace button. You can see my arrow right there on the edging. I want to look and make sure my needle isn't too close to the Mighty Hoop frame because I don't want my needle to hit that frame at all. So far, so good. It all looks good, you guys. There shouldn't be any issue on my placement. So from here, there is another option. What you can do here is let's go back to our screen. Let me adjust my camera. So back on our screen, you can hit this icon here, which is showing the needle with the square and the plus sign. So let's go ahead and hit that button right there. And it pulls up this menu over here. And what this allows you to do is to see each position that the furthest position. So let's say we want to start off with the upper right hand corner. We're going to hit that button, and up on our machine, down here on our frame, you can see it went to the uppermost position. And so from here, you want to come in here and look and make sure that your foot and your needle will not hit the MightyHoop at all. And it looks good. And like, this is the outermost position. So some of you might be thinking that looks kind of close, but if we come back up to our screen, let me show you this, you guys. Let me show you this. So on our screen, you guys, you can see there's this green plus sign right here. This green plus sign indicates the red laser on our frame. So if you actually look closely, you can see right here that like we're not even going to be up and near that area on our hoop. Let's switch it down to our lower right. So the green plus sign is showing where's the outermost part. But like I said, with our design, we're not anywhere near there. So I am satisfied with the placement of the designs. So I'm gonna just hit this plus button to get our frame back into the center. And so from this point, we are ready to start stitching out this test sample, you guys. So let's go ahead and start stitching this out. I'm at 500 stitches per minute. I don't know how full my bobbin is, so we may or may not have to switch bobbins. Before I hit the lock button, I've already hit this icon here, so that way I can consolidate each color. So as it stitches, it's going to do each purple first, and then we'll switch to the red. So let's get it going. This may be the only part that I do speed ahead with, but I'm gonna just let it stitch out for you guys to see what it's doing. So it's doing the upper left star. It's going to be doing the upper left purple star first, and then it should go to the right, and then down here to the lower left, and then to the lower right. For those of you who are using the 4x4 inch hoop, I didn't do it on the 4x4 inch hoop, but some of you, if you've played around with it, you might be able to fit at least 2 of these on one hoop, and then consolidate the colors so you can see how it will do each color one at a time first, and then switch to the next color. But I thank you guys for tuning in thus far, just to check out this little tutorial / follow along. If you guys haven't downloaded the file yet to do this practice, be sure to download the file, you guys. It doesn't hurt to download that file and just practice your brother persona, learn the ins and out of the machine, and so that way you can get better at using your machine and be more confident in using your machine. I have been using this process of consolidating the colors, so that way it'll do each color one at a time as like a bulk, as like a whole, and then it'll move on to the next color, and it keeps it all in order, you guys. So you don't have to worry about the order being messed up because it keeps it all in order. Now, on the flip side, you can't do this same process with different designs, you guys. It doesn't work that way. It has to be the exact same design repeated. Alright, so once it finished up with that second purple star, it went right on to the next purple star. I was using this hoop not too long ago. I had a big bulk order, you guys. I had 25 patches to make, and I used this hoop, and I made 4 patches at a time using this hoop. The patches themselves were 2.75 by 2.75 inches. I was able to fit 4 on a hoop. It took me a little while, but I got them all done and shipped out. So if you guys want to pick yourself up any size MightyHoop, be sure to check out their website, you guys, and use promo code PatchBoy and receive free shipping. For those of you who don't necessarily have the budget right now to pick up one of these MightyHoops, because they are over $100 each hoop, I highly recommend using our link down below and pick yourself up this 5x7 hoop, you guys. This 5x7 hoop is for the Brother Persona. I will have a link down in the description box below where you can pick this up yourself off Amazon. It's about like 35 bucks, I think, maybe even 40 bucks with all the shipping. But definitely pick yourself up a 5x7 hoop, you guys, because I use this hoop almost more than I use my Mighty Hoops. This hoop definitely comes in handy, especially if I'm doing, you can fit about 2 to 3 patches on this hoop itself, depending on the size of the patches. All right, you guys, so it is done with all 4 of the purple stars. And if we look at our screen, like I said, I didn't have to do any starting it again. But if you look here on the screen, we are now at 5 of 16, right up there. And I didn't have to hit the lock button to get the machines going for each color. I didn't have to do color changes yet. But I'm now about to do my first color change, which is going to do all 4 of the red colors. All right, so I already cut the purple. Now I'm going to take the red and tie it off on the end of the purple and then pull that through the machine. I like to do 2 knots. Make sure the knots are nice and snug. You don't want your knots to be loose because otherwise it'll come undone and then you end up just having to manually thread the whole machine. I'm going to hit my automatic threader button. That comes down. Let me loop it like so. I do have a video of me threading this machine, so definitely go ahead and check that video out if you are having trouble threading your Brother Persona. Start button. It's going to do all 4 reds now. And I'm looking at close at it, trying to get a close look at it, and like, so far so good. I don't see no real stitch separations or anything. The file itself, I did give it like a little overlap with the embroidery files that I create. I always try to have a good amount of overlap between the colors, so that way to mitigate any stitch separations. You can also go in and play around with your push and pull compensations. I haven't done too much of that as I've only really been doing just like overlapping the colors a couple millimeters. All right, so it's about to finish up that first orange square, or not square, it's going to finish up that first orange star, and it's going to move right over here to the upper right and do that orange star. So far so good. If you guys just like this design, definitely hit that download link so that way you can have this design in your design library. It's just 3 stars with a motif on top. You can always like skip past the motif part if you don't want to do that motif on the top of it. But we haven't gotten to that point yet, so we don't really know what that's going to look like until we get there. So it's going to do this black motif. Let me know what you guys think of this like motif. If you guys like it in the design or if you don't like it in the design. This is just like a little tutorial, but I'd like to know what you guys think of this design. It was a quick little design that I made up just for this video. We definitely got to consider saving on our supplies. So one way to cut some cost on your supplies is to be able to embroider multiple patches on one hoop. And this is just for patches, you guys. Like the advice I'm giving, the tutorials that I'm giving, like my videos, all of our content is mainly on just patches. So the first patch is almost complete. It's about to finish up that satin stitch, and then it's going to move on over to the next patch. All right, you guys, there we have it. When files are complete, you will get this message, finished embroidering. Let's go ahead and take this up off the hoop and take a closer look at it. There we are. There we are. 4 patches on 1 hoop. Let me know what you think in the comments of how your guys' turned out. You didn't necessarily have to do multiple patches on a hoop. You could have just did 1 patch on your hoop. So you could potentially use this file on your Brother SE625 or any other Brother machine that takes the PES file. But this tutorial / follow along was mainly about showing you guys how you can duplicate your patches within the machine, and also how you can consolidate the colors so that way it does 1 color for each patch at a time and keeps it all in order, so that way you can crank these out faster without having to do multiple color changes. This has been Chris with Patchboy Dart, Patches for the Culture. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you haven't done so already, if you want to download this stars tester file, be sure to click the link down below so you can download this PES file. We will see you on the next tutorial and or follow along. Peace.